Hello and welcome to Channels Television. This is Lunchtime Politics coming to you live from our Abuja studios. I'm Millicent Walker. First, the highlights. President Bola Tinubu addresses Nigerians in his New Year speech, promises to fight obstacles impeding business competitiveness in the country. We'll see Nigerian governors in nationwide addresses promise unprecedented development in 2024, express optimism of fruitful year, just as Taraba, Benue State governors pardon inmates in New Year messages. Last candidate of a court party in River State, Dumolulu Briggs, withdraws appeal at Supreme Court against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Happy New Year once again from every one of us here at Channels Television. And thank you for being part of our successes in the outgone year. We trust indeed to bank on your continual support in the new year and many years ahead. Well, we serve you first with the very first lunchtime political story for the new year. And this is with the report of the President, Bola Tinubu, addressing the nation. Now, the President, in his New Year address, which is his first, describes the year 2023 as one with its challenges, nonetheless eventful. It saw, he says that it saw the peaceful transfer of power to his administration, but he also promised not to let down the faith that Nigerians have put in him by voting him.
Dear compatriots, it gives me immense joy to welcome each and every one of you, young and old, to this brand new year 2024. We must lift up our hand to Almighty God in gratitude for His grace and benevolence to our country and our lives in the year 2023 that has just gone by. Though the past year was very challenging one, it was eventful in so many ways. For our country, it was a transition year that saw a peaceful, orderly, and successful transfer of power from one administration to another, marking the yet another remarkable step in our 24 years of unbroken democracy. It was a year you, the gracious people of this blessed nation, entrusted your faith in me with a clear mandate to make our country better, to revamp our economy, restore our security within our borders, revitalize our floundering industrial sector, boost agricultural production, increase national productivity, and set our country on an irreversible path towards national progress that we and future generations will forever be proud of. The task of building a better nation and making sure we have a Nigerian society that cares for all our citizens is the reason I ran to become your president. It was the core of my renewed hope campaign message, on the basis of which you voted me as president.
Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Meanwhile, governors across the country have been addressing residents of their states. In Taraba State, Governor Agu Kefas commits to justice, compassion, and states his resolve in transforming the state. The governor also granted clemency to 31 inmates in the correctional centers across the state. On his part, the governor of Benue State granted pardon to 12 inmates, assuring them of better days ahead when they contribute to national development.
Good people of Taraba State, as we usher in the dawn of a new year, I extend my heartfelt wishes to each and every one of you. Together, we started at the threshold of 2024, a year brimming with possibilities and opportunities for our great state. In the spirit of renewal and progress, I am pleased to announce that in the exercise of my prerogative of power, we shall be granting clemency to 31 deserving inmates. This decision reflects our commitment to justice, compassion, and the belief in the transformative power of rehabilitation. In addition, let me assure you that our dedication to the unity and development of Taraba State remains unwavering. Fellow citizens, I want to assure you that every citizen across the 168 wards is an integral part of our collective journey towards prosperity.
Over to the south, where Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State has asked residents of the state to expect an unprecedented level of development now that the plots to remove him from office have failed. He commended politicians who stood by him during the trying times, restating his commitment to peace at any cost.
We are the winner. We are the winner because we are still signing the red Bible. And so long as we are signing the red Bible, development will continue in Rivers State. 2024, we witness a height, unprecedented height in our state. The only thing we are asking from every one of you is your support, is your prayers. Also believe in every decision that we take. We are not going to throw any of you under the bus. I wasn't the governor when I used to stand for you. So now that I'm the governor, I will stand for you. Let me also say to our good people of Rivers State, don't lose faith. In God, we have built our foundation, not in any man. And because we have built our foundation in God, our foundation is strong and will complete the building.
Well, further south, the governor of Edo State is asking residents to make the right choices ahead of the governorship election in the year. Mr. Basike, during his New Year address, wants the electorate in the state to consider candidates, he says, with the prerequisite qualifications and capacity to move the state forward.
I want to especially thank Edo people for the trust, confidence, and encouragement which you continue to show to us, particularly over the last 7 years. Things may be difficult at this time, but as you already know, tough times don't last. Only tough people do. Through the centuries, Edo people have always prevailed over their environment and difficult situations. This time will not be different. 2024 is another election year in the state. We must be deliberate in making our choices during the polls in support of the progress which we have so far recorded. We should seek for a governor who is ready to sacrifice for the common good of Edo and Nigeria. We should seek for persons who have the skills, knowledge, and experience to formulate and implement good policies that will move Edo forward. I urge everyone, particularly the political actors, to ensure that they go about their activities in a peaceful and cordial manner. As we enter into the new year, I urge you to reignite that undying spirit of resilience with vigor and hope, and continue to pray for the unity, progress, and prosperity of our dear state and nation. Once again, I wish you all a very, very happy and prosperous 2024.
And in the southwest, Governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has assured residents of the state of his administration's commitment to the various projects and programs he says will develop the state. Senator Adeleke gave the promise while addressing a gathering at the Crossover Night program, which held at the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park in Oshogbo.
Can I show you everything will be good by the special grace of God? By the special grace of God, you will go from strength to strength, or you will go from strength to strength. No evil shall befall us, because we are the progressive. When you are the progressive, we have provided free medical care. We are fixing all the roads. We are fixing all the schools. And water is going on. By the special grace of God, we will still do more. Within 8 months, I can assure you, you will now see all the dividends of democracy. I'm sure you have started seeing it. I'm going to say once again, Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
Well, amid the increase in allocation to education by the federal government, the country did not meet the global benchmark of 26% of the national budget to funding the sector. The 2024 budget, which is expected to be signed today, made provision for 2.18 trillion naira for the education sector in 2024. We understand 390 billion naira higher than 1.79 trillion naira allocated to it in the 2023 appropriation. And this represents 7.85% of the 27.5 trillion naira proposal and a 0.6% increase from the 24.82 trillion 2023 budget. So we're switching things now to talking about the education sector, and that is what to expect with the Tinubu administration this year, this new year, 2024. And joining us to talk about this is Mr. Akinteye Babatunde Afiz. He's the National Association of Nigerian Students, that's NANS, the Senate President. He joins us from our Lagos studio. Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year, thank you. Thank you.
All right, the President had on assumption to office assured that his administration would commit more resources to the education sector. Well, looking at what we have in the budget, are you satisfied? Are you optimistic that it's enough for that sector?
Thank you very much. With what we have in the budget, we are not very satisfied, because year in, year out, we have been clamoring to the government to meet the UNESCO quota for education, which is 26%. And if you should look at the budget, even apart from the federal government, if you look at states to state, it is only Enugu states that met 33%. Your state and Abia State made 21%, and your state made 20%. And if this state should implement it, definitely it is on the good side. But if we're having 8.8% according to what is on the budget this year, we, the students, we are not too satisfied with it, because we are clamoring for increase in the budget for education from the federal government, because this is the way that education can be more funded, because we are clamoring for funding. Most of the institutions are complaining of lack of fund. So 8.8, now what is the assurance that even this 8.8 will be implemented fully? So we cannot be satisfied with such percentage. Even at the presentation of the budget, the public hearing at the House of Rep, we were there, and the president of NAS also stated it clearly that we want increment in the budgetary allocation to education sector in this year. So we are not so satisfied with the 8.8 percentage.
Some will say that there is considerable increase, and that's when you compare it to previous administration's budgets allocated to the education sector. But the president has, well, not only promised, committing more resources, he says there will be, in his words, his promise to use transformative power of education to combating poverty. What are your expectations with this administration in 2024?
Our expectation in this administration is high. They are high because due to the president, he has stated and he has said many things, especially he has promised many things to the education sectors. Part of them is the student loan. In the budget, they have appropriated about 50 billion naira to the student loan. And we are optimistic that many of the promises of the president, many of the things he has said, that he is going to follow them with actions and activities and also monitor them, because we cannot avoid to have crisis in the education sector this year. We don't want situation that has happened before. We want improvement. We want education. We want a system we can be proud of in the year 2024. And due to the promises he has promised, he said, which it is a no, that there will be no more ASU strike. The education sector will be funded, but according to the budget, we want a situation. We want a situation that the education sector that the students will be proud of. We want a sector that even the lecturers, the students, everybody will be proud and will live fine. The militarism of the students will be taken as priority, and that is the type of education sector we are looking forward to with this government in the year 2024.
All right, Mr. Afiz, do stay on with us. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, I'll be interrogating, NAN's, role in the student loans this year, 2024. Do stay with us. You're still watching Lunchtime Politics. Welcome back. You're still watching Lunchtime Politics live from Abuja studio, and we've been speaking to Mr. Akintaye Babatunde Afiz, the National Association of Nigerian Students Senate President, joining us from our Lagos studio. And just before we let you go, you spoke about the students' loan and the optimism, but I really want to know, because when that initiative came out, a lot of people had picked holes in that document about, some of the provisions. And the government has promised to refine that and then apply it. But how much is NANS going to be interrogating to making sure that it works and it serves the purpose of its lifespan? And also, do you think that strikes is a thing of the past when you look at the education sector in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. We can, first of all, on the student loan, when it came on board, many of us, to some extent, we loved the idea, we supported the idea of the student loan. And we welcome it because we realize and we know we are closer to the students. And we know how paying this tuition fee is difficult to some students. We know the way some people, even to get 2,000, 5,000 naira is a problem. So we welcome the idea. But we have issues because of the qualification and criteria you need to meet before you can get the student loan. Part of it is that it was family that are making less than 500,000 yearly. You will get two guarantors, some of them to the level 12 of the civil servant or a lawyer. And you must not have been caught abusing drug, which is fine. But we have issues about, okay, now, we say this loan should be for the poor, the poorest of the poor. How do you want them to get a level 12 officers or level 2, level 12 officers? So those process, we went to the president. The last time NAS met the president and we raised these observations. He sent us back to the House of Rep that he will send the loan back there. We should go to the public hearing and raise our observations, which we did. And the House of Rep said they are going to make amendment on that and they are going to send it back to him. So we are waiting for the feedback and see the new criteria we need to meet on the student loan. But I would believe if the student loan is well managed and monitored, it's a good one for the student. And also the repayment process needs to be monitored so that there will be longevity along the line.
Strikes a thing of the past in the education sector?
What do you say?
Briefly, and this is because we're wrapping up with you, are strikes a thing of the past in the education sector?
We can only be optimistic and we can only hold the president to his words. The president has promised us that during his administration there will be no issue of ASU strike. And part of the steps he has taken, he has removed ASU from the lecturers from IPPIS, which is some of the problems that are facing the education sector, that are facing ASU and the federal government before. So we believe all these steps are steps that have been taken to stop the issue of strike. So we can be optimistic and we can just believe that the strike is a thing of the past, at least in doing this administration by holding the president by his words.
Thank you for your time. Mr. Akintaye Babatunde Afiz is the Senate President, NANS. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Go on to other stories, where a member of the River State House of Assembly, Honorable Edison Ehie, has resigned his position as member and speaker of the State Assembly. Honorable Ehie, in his notice of resignation sent to INEC, thanked his constituents for their support. The letter did not state why he was leaving his seat as lawmaker in the state. The River State House of Assembly has been mired in political imbroglio, with Mr. Ehie removed from his position as leader, suspended alongside 3 others. In a swift response, however, Mr. Ehie's group came together and elected him as parallel speaker, with the governor subsequently recognizing him. And we know that history, the court injunction stopping Martin Zamewele, his group, from interfering with Edison in carrying out his duties as speaker, and the peace deal that was reached and signed both by Governor Fubara and the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, but a deal that was silent on the plight of Mr. Ehie and his group. Meanwhile, the candidate of the Accord Party in the 2023 River State governorship election, Jimoh Lulu-Briggs, has withdrawn his appeal at the Supreme Court against the victory of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. An appeal court sitting in Lagos had on November 28 last year, 2023, affirmed the election of Governor Fubara, dismissing it. The court, in a unanimous decision, affirmed the judgment of the election tribunal. Not satisfied with that, the Accord Party went to court. But in his 2024 New Year message, Mr. Jimoh Lulu-Briggs explained that the decision to withdraw his appeal is his contribution to reducing the political tension in the oil-rich state. Well, for more on the situation in River State, joining us now is Dr. Sarah Chidebere Joy, HOD, Development Communication Studies with the River State University. Welcome to the program and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And she joins us virtually. First, I'd like to get your thoughts. We have the Accord Party candidate saying is dropping, his appeal to the Supreme Court, saying that he wants to reduce the tension in River State. I mean, what do you make of, such a decision by the Accord Party candidate?
The political leaders in this state, or those who contested, is a good thing. And so we must applaud Jimoh Lulu-Briggs for withdrawing his case. But again, thinking about River State, what the media has categorized as River's crisis, for us is quite concerning because River State is calm. We're just watching how things unfold. So yes, it's a good thing, but we'll see how what that leads to in terms of benefiting the generality of the public in River State. That's what we're really interested in.
So another thing we've seen is Honorable Ehie resigning as Speaker and member. And many wonder if his constituents are actually involved in, advising on that decision, or we have a situation where maybe he was threatened to resign. What do you think?
Okay, so I didn't get the other part of your question.
If he was forced, if perhaps he was forced to resign.
I'm sure you're talking about Edison Ehie now, who released yesterday that he's resigned. Yes, so we're not really sure what's going on, and that is the problem. The people in River State have not been part of the politics. We've always been on the outside. It was similar. Yesterday, I put out there on my socials that we thought yesterday was going to be violence-free, but it was saying, of course, it was not. So we're not sure what is going on, if this is a game plan to either make him a part of the same governance or administration, maybe as chief of staff. People have postulated as such. We're not sure, but of course it's possible that maybe he's now been edged out. This Rivers crisis, in quotes, is quite interesting. And we'll see again how it unfolds. Yesterday, for the first time, I believe, we're beginning to have an idea what the problem is, because we've heard on the 30th of October, there was an attempt to impeach the River State governor. But the Rivers people are not quite sure what the problem is. If you're going to impeach someone, then we need some kind of explanation. It was seen that it was only yesterday that we got a little bit of an indication what is going on when the River State governor, in his speech in a church at the New Year service, New Year's Eve service in Opobo town, said to us, all they want is this red Bible. Does that mean, therefore, there was an attempt to take away the red Bible from him, whatever that means? But I'll tell you what the River State people want. It's not about people resigning. We're not really interested in the politics. we're interested in governance. Whatever it is that has to be done to ensure that the numbers in terms of multidimensional poverty, in terms of unemployment in the state, is checked and lowered. That is what we want the sitting governor to do. That is what the Rivers people are interested in.
Well, Dr. Sarah Chidebere-Joy, we'll keep watching as things progress for Rivers in 2024. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Well, that's our show, the very first in 2024, Lunchtime Politics, here from our Abuja studio. Thank you for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.